God bless you, everybody. Not gonna be before you long. So first of all, I want to apologize for the hum of the air conditioning in the background. But I had this dream, and I was wondering what would be God's response to all this alien stuff in the news, you know. And so I went to bed sort of with that on my mind. So it was no surprise to me that I kind of went to sleep and I had a dream about like this dystopian world, like aliens and all this crazy stuff was going on in the dream. Don't remember too much, but I just remember like, hiding in places and stuff like that. Not really like fearful in a dream, but it was just like, okay, this is what I got to do, to kind of survive. And but when I woke up, I was like, oh gosh, I hope that don't happen. Like I'm like, God, thinking to myself, well, God, is this a dream from you, or is this because I kind of went to bed with this on my mind? And not all of my dreams, are from God. A lot, I would say the majority are from God. So I woke up and I was just like, well, God, is this you giving me this dream? What will be the point? Because if anything, it's more of like, not that I was fearful, but it was more like, if I was that type to be scared, I would be scared after waking up from that dream. So I woke up, did some stuff, went downstairs or whatever, and then I went back up to bed. And when I went back to bed, I was in the same environment, like the same dream. But this time in the dream, it was like I was able to look at myself, and I was wearing this black shirt, and it said protected. Excuse me, in big white letters it said protected. And there was like a confidence about me in the dream. The situation was still the same, but I had this shirt on, and it was like, when I woke up and analyzed the dream, it was like I was marked. It was like there was like a recognition, like this one can't be touched. You know what I mean? So I don't know, what you guys believe about, this whole situation, whatever. My inclination, this is not coming from God, but my inclination is that this is just all demonic. This is just all demonic. I'm not gonna go into too deep about it, but there was a well-known man who interpreted dreams who since passed on, and he told this story. Well, his name was John Paul Jackson. He told this story. He was like, there was this farmer guy, whatever, and the farmer guy was telling him this story that there was what seemed to be aliens that came down to this man in a farm, and the man was by himself, and these aliens came down and was like, we found a solution, for humanity. We'll be able to bring about peace. And the man was like, oh, you mean Jesus? I always laugh when I tell the story. And the man was like, oh, you mean Jesus? And the alien was like, don't say that name. And then he was like, what, Jesus? And the alien was like, I said stop saying that name. And then the man was like, well, Jesus is already the king of peace or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And the alien just got so mad and just went back up from where he came from. But whether or not that's, a true story, I don't know. But I always, hold that story. Every time this subject matter comes up, I always think back to that story. But back to my dream. For those of you that are really tied to Christ and really walking with Christ, really have a relationship with Christ, you're marked. You're marked. So there's no need to be having a fear over this, what's been in the news. There's no reason to have fear because you're marked. You're basically, the Bible speaks about different marks in the Bible. A lot of times people always want to talk about the mark of the beast and all this, that, and the other thing. But you know what? God has marked those that are his. And there's a part in Revelation, I don't know where, but I could, search it up and find it. But there's a part in Revelation where these different vials are being poured out, and the angel is ready to pour out a vial, and it's like someone says, I don't know, I think it's God. Somebody says, well, wait a minute, mark those, the ones that are his. You have to mark them first. And so some of you listening are need to know that you have a relationship with God. It's not like you're not that type of person that check the box that say, yes, I'm Christian. You have an actual relationship with God, and so you're marked. Okay, so anything can't just come up and grab a hold of you. They have to have permission. And so God is and then some people get tied up on, well, these are, other terrestrial, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, you need to know that God is the God of the universe. He created everything. So there's nothing that is outside of his power, nothing that he can't control if he wanted to. But there's certain things that just need to happen to fulfill prophecy. There's certain things that need to happen. And so I just want to, I don't know if anyone out there has been concerned about this or worrying about what is God saying about this? Like, what is his Rhema word? Because unfortunately, when John saw things, in the Bible, he didn't have the verbiage for what we're seeing now. He would just say, oh, it looked like this and it sounded like this and blah, 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 and it had the appearance of this. He didn't have the verbiage that we have today. So some of the things that are in the Bible, we may not be able to, no one has really cracked the code on end time prophecy. And the reason for that is most people are just waiting to be raptured up, so no one's really looking into that. So I'm going to leave that discussion there. I'm not going to go no further with that. But anyway, the point of the whole thing is that you're protected and that you're marked. God has marked you. And that mark is to say you're protected and you're his. Okay? And so this is for people that have a real relationship, not for people who just have a ritualship. Basically you're just going through the motions. All right, I got to go on Sunday, clap my hands, stomp my feet, and then, whatever. You have a real relationship. And what does it mean to have a relationship? Just like if you have a relationship between a husband and wife, you talk every day. You know what I mean? You spend time with each other. And so it's the same thing with God. You have a relationship, you talk, you pray, you of course not the same thing in terms of worship, but you worship, you read his word. So, and when you talk to him, you expect that he would talk back. That's a relationship. So anyway, the point was you're protected, okay? No matter what you see happening, you're protected. Just know that. And he will give you the instructions as you go, as things begin to progress. God will always give his people instructions on what and how to navigate and to move, okay? But just know there's power in the name of Jesus. Know that as well. All right, so God bless you, and until we meet again.